Hello, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel. It's your girl, Wizzy. And tonight we're going to be unpacking the week's events that happened in the Sussex World, the royal family's week of oopsies, and yes, even a hint of divorce gossip. Served piping hot with a splash of funny. How are you guys doing? So, this week in Sussex World, the twists and turns have been ultra ridiculous. Like, you literally you have to make sure that you're not one to go car sick for the kind of twists and turns that been happening in Sussex World this week, because one moment is this way and the next moment it turns a different way entirely. So what am I on about really? So we had Meghan's As Ever launch. We've got Prince Harry's legal comeback in his security case. And we have Sophie Drama Department Chandauka trying to rewrite history like she's got a Netflix deal of her own. Maybe that's what she's even angling for. Who knows? Because when I say she's being dramatic, she is being ultra dramatic, honestly. Even the people who would normally take the side of anyone who has a case against Prince Harry, a situation against Prince Harry, are scratching their heads like nothing she says is making any kind of sense. Like, they would love to be able to support her with their full chest, but now they're worried that they're going to look stupid. And so all the investigation that they should have done before they gave her a platform, is just now that they're doing it. Isn't that the most ridiculous thing ever? Anyway, can we start with the girlie who knows how to soft launch a brand like she's teasing a Marvel cameo? Honestly, she did an excellent job deploying the launch of As Ever. And when you know what you're doing, you achieve results. So Megan dropped her new brand As Ever with zero bells, no trumpets, just vibes. And the squaddies went wild, just like it almost reminded me of what the Beehive do, like when Beyonce drops something, whether it's an album or concert tickets, whatever. Megan's stuff sold out faster than Prince Andrew's credibility, you know, because one moment Prince Andrew was the lovable, fuddy, lovable, adorable prince, and the next moment he had lost his credibility. I think, yeah, I would say that's a good comparison. Anyway, now, here's the bit that made me soft smile like a proud auntie. Some fans who had ordered the sellout. By the way, I'm still upset with those people who bought out the entire website. Like, who are you guys? Seriously. Anyway, some people who had bought stuff on the website and found out that items they had bought were sold out. They got a cute note from the Sussex team just apologizing for the mistakes that have been made and the promise of a freebie and when they restock. So that's like excellent customer care. They know, of course, that they're going to be scrutinized. So I'm sure they were ready for almost anything that could happen. Yeah, so you've got these letters that were sent to people. Did anybody in the audience get these kind of um, emails? The messages go, we hope you're having a wonderful day. On behalf of the As Ever team, we wanted to thank you for your support and purchase on the day of launch. As you may have seen, the excitement created a volume of traffic on the site that even we couldn't have anticipated. with everything selling out in under an hour. The orders were happening so quickly that the back end of the site didn't have a chance to keep up, and the limited edition honey you purchased was unfortunately already sold out. We are very sorry and will be refunding your purchase of this item. In addition to the refund, please let our customer service team know if there is another item you would like us to send to you free of charge. We are working on replenishing inventory and will gladly send you an item of your choosing to thank you for your understanding. So this is so lovely. It is so lovely, honestly. Um, and I'm so glad that they're choosing to handle it this way, because it just means, Lorna, you always give me great advice when it comes to things like this. What do you think about the way Meghan's team decided to handle this situation with people trying to buy stuff? I'm sure they already purchased it according to the website, but when they went to do the inventory to start processing the orders, then they realized that they had more orders than they had inventory. So they are going to be giving those people affected by this situation a refund, and also um, free goodies, which is great, which is great. I love to see it. Tell me, isn't this a masterclass? I think it's great. Megan's brand manager needs to teach a course. Maybe that's where she will get to eventually, where she will teach people how to do stuff like this. Because the way I see Megan, she's all about teaching people how to hack life. Lorna says perfect customer service and retention, right? I think it was great. She definitely handled it in the soft manner and tone that Megan, you know, tends to show up in, which is great. I love that. I love that they were able to do this time, and I'm sure that they're taking notes as they're going along on things that went well and the things that didn't do well. Yeah. So while Megan was out here giving us organic cotton and kindness, Prince Harry was in the courtroom still trying to secure the bag. Or should we say bodyguards? Well, we're really talking about his court case. So, as we know, this week, Prince Harry was officially granted permission to appeal his UK security ruling, and the hearing has been listed in the UK courts for the 8th and the 9th of April. So, this next week, because today is Saturday, so next week it's going to be, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday or Wednesday. Let me, do you know what? As I am talking to you, let me check the calendar right now. So yes, 8th and 9th, Tuesday and Wednesday. And I love that because, Tuesdays are when I do my videos for the week. So I will be all over that times 10 listening. The thing is that they don't, the way that the UK shares details on court cases is different to the American one. I think I prefer the American one because every time that there is a new court filing on a case in America, you can see what's been done, like what court papers were filed, and there is an indication of what's going to happen next. But in the UK one, it seems like they only make the judgments available to the public. So it looks like we're going to have to wait to see what the judgment is on this matter before we can get an update. But I will be all over it for sure. Um, so I'm not going to speculate too much as to the nuts and bolts of how that case is going, but there is chatter, unconfirmed mind, but there is chatter that his team, I mean Prince Harry's team, might reference the fact that even Taylor Swift, who is not a royal, got security when she rolled into London for the Eras tour. Taylor got her motorcade like she was head of MI6, but Harry, who is an actual prince, has actual death threats, was told to, just take it like that. And, if anything happened, it would not really disrupt public life if anything happens to him. Imagine that. Just make it make sense. Oh my goodness. Uh, and this week, when it comes to Our Lady Sophie, it seems like the mask fell off like the last act of Scooby Doo. Honestly, remember when how Sophie claimed that Meghan showed up uninvited to that Sentebale polo match? Well, it turns out, surprise, surprise, and I'm sure we all guessed that the situation would have been something like that, just because Harry and Meghan move carefully. It turns out that Sophie herself wrote to Meghan and said, "Girl, pull up." And then you go on to the national media platform, who have it in for Harry to claim that Meghan just showed up at an event where you were at uninvited. I don't even know why she was thinking that Meghan needed to be invited in the first place, because from watching Polo, you can see that polo is very much a family friendly activity. The entire family gets involved. They're basically part of the team of all the polo players. So why she needed to do that is questionable. And thinking along those lines, then it then stands to question that maybe that was how she was setting this whole thing up from then. Maybe she had already set up the whole controversy. Didn't need to be them on the stage. She would have made a controversy at some other point in the event, just so that she could use it now against Harry and Meghan. But I think Harry and Meghan have perfected the art of being very careful around people. So she couldn't find anything else that she could use against Harry and Meghan, and she pinpointed that more so because I think more so because the British media had looked at that, they had pinpointed that particular awkward event and had started running with it like, oh, Meghan was bullying her. So it's quite interesting that um it's now turning out that actually she was the one who invited Meghan to the event. And it's quite surprising that she now says her new excuse for being upset that Meghan was at the event was that she got less than 24 hours notice that Meghan would be there. Like, this is not a royal event. There was no need for the invitation in the first place. Meghan was always welcome to come there, whether she notified anyone that she was coming or not. So it seems to me that it was a clear setup from the beginning. And just looking at the photograph that we have on the screen, can you see that she wants to look at the way she's standing with, first of all, look at her dress. Now, if you know anything about elegance, you will know that this dress, although it's kind of covered and her curves and everything are out, but it seems like for the occasion, it was a bit too form fitting. That's the first thing. If you look at the dresses of the other ladies that were there who were used to engaging in these kind of activities, they're not wearing a form-fitting kind of dress because it just seems like it would have been out of place to do so. You can almost always, people telegraph their intentions by, I think, the way they dress. And then look at her hand. It's almost like she wanted to be Meghan in this photograph because that is precisely how Meghan is with Harry. This is not even appropriate. This is not even appropriate. How did she think that this would be appropriate? Everybody else standing around them had their hands to themselves. Why did she feel the need to put her hand on Harry's back? And I've been looking at all the photographs since then. Even before this thing happened, I had looked at the photograph and thought to myself, why is she always snuggling up to Harry? He must smell good. This is what I thought to myself before now. And I just thought to myself, maybe because I grew up with like guys around me, and there's some guys that just like to hang out with the ladies. They just like, not innocently, they just like to hang out with ladies, and they're carefree and what have you. And Harry seems like he is one of those kind of guys. Like, he's comfortable whether he's hanging out with men or women, but he's one of those guys that knows how to hang out with women without women feeling intimidated or uncomfortable. As in, he can hug you and it will be completely innocent. There will be nothing on both your minds. And that's because he's been hanging out with great quality people. And this Sophie of a person who know where boundaries are. This Sophie of a person, she seems like she don't even know where she doesn't even know where boundaries are at all. Because look at this. This is just one of many examples. It was a setup. That I think it'd be very hard for anyone to convince me that it wasn't a setup from the beginning. And she must have tried so many other things which didn't work, only for her to find out now it comes time for her to pull the trigger. And she looked through all the events that took place and she was like, this is the best I can do because he really didn't do anything to me. I'm going to say that I was treated in a way. But you notice that she doesn't accuse Meghan of anything. She just implies that she was treated in a way. And the treatment was confirmed by international media. Anyway, um, I hope she is getting the repercussions of everything that she is doing right now. And maybe they promised to pay off her debt, the debt that she's owing. I hope she gets her money and she chokes on it. Um, anyway, don't even get me started on the Netflix drama. She told Sky News that she didn't approve of the cameras, but then a whole video dropped of her grinning and saying that she was thrilled that Netflix was there. At this point, Sophie's relationship with the truth is like Charles and Diana's marriage, performative and doomed. And let me tell you, Sky News obviously didn't do their homework. Sentebale wasn't struggling because of any toxicity attached to Prince Harry. It was funded by Prince Harry's polo hustle and a cool $1.5 million from the spare memoir. Facts that were sitting right there, but Sky News acted like they just discovered Wikipedia yesterday. And now it seems like the receipts are coming up from every place. Now they are scrambling and then leaking these bits of receipts to the media. Now there's talk of a charity commission compliance investigation, and honestly, Sophie might be the first person in history to go on a sympathy tour and end up being under investigation. Can anyone say poetic justice? Can anyone say poetic justice? uh, so let's look at what else is happening. So we've got the fact that William reportedly hired this new law firm called Mission de Rea. Yep, that's the same legal team that helped Princess Diana in her divorce. And before people conclude that it's divorce incoming, I would say hold off. I think the royal family have decided that they can't afford news of a divorce. So I don't really see it being him getting divorced. I don't see it because it would damage William too much for him to announce a divorce at this time. So I don't think that will be the case. Of course, he has had his people in the media explaining it as being just part of succession planning, having separate legal counsel for conflict of interest reasons, which on paper it sounds right, but at the same time, if both parties conflict of interest only comes up when there is a conflict in the matter. So, unless William is in conflict with the royal family, it doesn't matter whether he has the same legal counsel as the royal family, because what they're trying to say is that all his interests have been with the same legal counsel that the royal family use. But now that he is getting ready to become king, they have transferred his interest to a different firm of solicitors. Well, what I'm saying to you as someone with a little bit, should I say, of legal training, you only need to, the conflict of interest only arises if there is a conflict between the interests of the two people who were using the same law firm. If your interests are not the same, that's where you have to split your interests. Let me take you back to when Prince Harry, because Prince Harry also was using the same law firm as the rest of the royal family. However, when he decided that he needed to sue the Daily Mail, then his interest now was in conflict with the interest of the royal family. So he went off and got his own lawyers. So I think there is more to this. It's not if they're saying it's succession planning and it has to do with the royal family. I think it's more about William being in conflict with the royal family directly. There is an issue between them, and he now needs his own firm of solicitors to resolve the issue because they can't use the same solicitor if they are in conflict. That's the only reason why you need to separate solicitors. That's the only thing that makes sense anyway. So um But the part that no one is mentioning and no one has highlighted is the fact that these same solicitors that Prince William has moved his interest to, should we say, is the same law firm that Dan Wooten was using. Yes, the same Dan Wooten who has been throwing Sussex slander like confetti at a tabloid wedding. So you're telling me that William and Wooten are both shopping from the same legal aisle? That's either a wild coincidence or William playing chess with the media. As I said, as for the divorce rumors, I don't really see it. I don't really see it before he becomes king. I don't really see it because that would be too much bad PR and they would not be able to control the fallout of that. He's already got a lot of bad PR. So adding that to what is already on ground would be catastrophic, I think, for William. This is what I think. But if anyone knows any better, please let us know in the chat. Uh, um, so let's see. Let's see. Let me see your comments. You said William might as well go ahead and get a divorce because I don't think he's no longer interested in Kate Middleton. Well, that would be the normal thing to do. But we can see that the royal family are not normal. Ada says, I hope Meghan's products come to Asia. Yes. Um, but I think that they're going to keep um they launched small, so just America, and I think maybe they will increase it with time. I think they will increase their reach with time. Sophie comes off as a spiteful liar who is willing to take the charity down to get what she wants. Do you know what? I think it might just be as simple as Sophie was in debt and then she was offered the same deal as Thomas Markle and Samantha Markle, and she decided to go for it um, in order to claim whatever money she was being offered. And they were probably expecting Prince Harry because I've seen a few articles where they were saying that they expected Prince Harry to come out and say something. But surprisingly, Prince Harry has not been as loud as they were expecting him to be, which means that they were trying to control his reaction to what Sophie said. And I'm so glad that Prince Harry didn't overreact to what was happening. It's bad enough that he makes a claim and then Sophie reacts almost immediately, like so disrespectfully. But the fact that he is able to respond with restraint is admirable. It also shows how far he has come in all of this. So yeah, I think it's even the people who were giving Sophie the platform are the ones now doing the investigation that they should have done in the first place before giving her the platform and then exposing her backhanded bad nature. Oh my goodness. Let me look at this. Uh, Dana says, Wheezy, I totally agree. William and C3 don't align. I think there is an issue there that they're trying to get solicitors. But how did the media know that Prince William had changed solicitors? It must have been leaked by William's team. Must have been leaked by Williams. This is something that we don't even really think about when we are hearing this news. How did they know that William had gotten his own firm of solicitors? Because it's against solicitors' rules for a firm of solicitors to leak that bit of news to the media. It is ever discovered, the law firm and all the solicitors in it will get banned. So how did the media know? So William wanted it to be known that he had changed solicitors. Yeah, there's nothing anybody can say to convince me otherwise. There is definitely conflict between the king and his son Willie. Willie uh and William wanted Sophie to break up Harry's marriage, but it backfired on them for sure. That one is for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. I think that Sophie, I think the last first time I was talking about it, I referred to Sophie as a honeypot, but she was a honey trap. It just didn't work because if you look at the photograph of her in this, look at this photograph. Although it looks like it's a professional dress, but in the setting where they were, she's the only one emphasizing her body features. She's the only one. So she will, I think, have to eventually resign from the charity. I think she will definitely have to do that. So to recap, Megan is giving us grace, she is giving us relaxation, she's giving us homely goods. Harry is fighting the good fight. And Sophie is out here trying to stage a villain origin story, but forgot about the receipts. And William, well, let's just say his succession era is looking like is just looking as clumsy as he has been. Have you noticed that every time William tries to do something, he ends up messing it up, either in the messaging or in the execution of the thing. Like he only wakes up on the day of his the he only wakes up on the day he's supposed to do something to think about how he wants to get it done. So then now he doesn't have enough time to execute everything as smoothly as he should. If this week in royal news was a movie, the title would be, as ever, the petty and the privileged. Little Mac is saying something. You said William, I'm supposing this is about William's new solicitors, right? You say it serves two purposes: to scare Kate and to tie himself to Diana. Well, uh, to scare Kate that he might be wanting to get a divorce. In this situation, right? I think if I'm looking at it correctly, my opinion is, and this is just my opinion, while William has all the money, he has all the influence and the connections, right? He can make and unmake. But what Kate has is her very existence. She has the ability to do what Sophie just did to Prince Harry. She can decide that she is going to come out and talk, which would be absolutely devastating for William. So he might do some things, but there's not a, I don't think he would be active. This is my, as I said, this is just my opinion. I don't think he will be actively doing too much to her. That is, but I'm assuming that Kate is at least intelligent enough to know what her leverage is in the situation. So, um, but then again, as I just highlighted, the excuse they're giving that king and son cannot have the same solicitors does not wash, because you can only not use the same solicitor if you are in conflict. If you are in agreement, then you can both use the same solicitors, no worries. So there you go. Dana says it was disclosed another one of Sophie's consultants has links to North. Well, okay. And um but with all of this, guys, you guys can see that these people keep on conspiring. Every time Harry and Meghan have a business, they have an event that they are trying to prop up, the continuous attempts to sabotage them will continue. The attempts to sabotage them will continue. So look at what happened with Sky News and the interview that they granted, or they allowed Sophie to come onto their platform to make all these allegations. Obviously, it's going to be a legal battlefield once the Charity Commission's investigation is completed, right? So, this is the reason why. I mean, if you were some big organization who has a little bit of a link, let's say a little bit of a link to the monarchy, just this fallout, if Prince Harry did not handle it properly, would scare you from wanting to do business with him. So, really, what they're after is Prince Harry's business interests, which he has to keep fight 10 times more for than anybody else, I suppose, who is trying to do business out there. This is the reason why I am still saying that I once the case is done with the Daily Mail, I will continue to push for the I will continue to push to file that petition at the UN because um, it is going to be needed. The battle, although Harry and Meghan are trying to push their way through, but what they're up against is really an attempt to sabotage them now because everything else that they're trying to do is failing. And it is only by the almighty grace of God that they're able to put one step in front of the other. So, if you support my mission to file a, a petition against the British media, please go ahead to support me. What I need to do it, just because of the UN requirements, is a minimum of at least 10K subscribers. That's the one. Also, because I am doing a lot of research, attending legal consultations, reporting to move this mission forward, it's going to take money, guys. It's going to take money. As much as I don't like to talk about money, but because all of these activities going on behind the scenes is expensive, it's going to take money to file a petition at the UN. Think of filing a petition at the UN like you are going to file an appeal at the Supreme Court. That's what it is like. So you've got to pay the lawyers, pay the lawyers not just to file the petition, but for the research that is needed. But I thought to myself that if I had 1,000 people who would subscribe to my channel at $4.99 each, we could propel this mission forward at an exponential speed. So I am asking you guys to please subscribe to my channel, join the channel membership, okay? And because we are working very hard behind the scenes. This is why I don't post videos every day and multiple times a day, because I am working behind the scenes on the work needed to file this petition. Believe it or not, it's still ongoing. It's just that we have not reached a conclusive point or have not hit the next milestone. This is why you haven't heard anything from me. Okay. And for those people who are on Instagram, please go ahead to follow our Instagram page because it will help us to share information when the information becomes available to share. Okay, it will definitely boost our ability to turn those who are undecided into decided members of the squad. So join the movement and let's make history together. Membership details are in the description box of this video. And um, if you want the Instagram link, I will put it on the community page after this live stream. Okay. So, that's all I have for this evening. Okay. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks to my able moderators, Julie and Lorna. Thank you so much for being here and giving me your time. Thank you, everyone, and have the rest of the good weekend. Ciao.